oh, that is a good point. It's like, why do I care so much about these characters? It's because she did it right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
She was over here like, oh, I'm trying to get through these books, and I had already finished, and I was like, oh, she's gonna hate it. She hates it. Like a classic mafia thing.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Hey, Tabatha.
Hey, Sharilyn.
What are we up to today?
Today we are reviewing, very preparedly, the Greenbone Saga. All three. We'll do a spoiler-free section first, so hang tight, and then we'll do spoilers at the end.
All right. Cheers, besties.
So, we read all three books. All six books.
The pretty edition and the special edition and
Yes.
the e-book and the audio book.
Yeah, we did that.
We did that. Oh, what's this about?
Yeah.
What would you, if you were trying to tell someone who's never read this before, what this book is about?
Well, first I wouldn't say it's an urban fantasy. Okay, so I would say that this is a fantasy series in an urban setting that is focused on family dynamics between rival gangs, but we're really focused on one specific family and then how they are fitting into their expected roles or how they would want to change those. Would you add anything to that?
I would probably just say something different. I don't know. No.
What would you say?
you know that I can't put words together in any coherent format. No, I think that's a good, it's very much about family dynamics. You've mentioned before that it's very family drama-esque. It's focused on, yes, two clans, but from the perspective more so of the one in a city setting.
No-peak clan.
They have like a resource-based magic system that the control of that resource and the amount of that resource that you can use affects how the clan layout and the power of certain individual clans within the city and the country. Yeah. But it's a very, I want to say relatable, like it feels like a very almost like
Real world?
Yeah, it feels very real world. I don't want to say like a low level fantasy. It feels very like,
but it feels like it.
Yeah, it's like
it's a fictional setting, but it feels like a real world setting.
Yeah. So it's like it doesn't take a lot of brain power to get immersed in the story and the world.
Mm-hmm. And then as far as that magic, just like one quick note for the summary section. It's not like there's not a ton of it. They don't go, they're not always doing magical powers or anything. It's very, very limited. So don't go in expecting like a ton of magic. It's still very important and it's still fully fleshed out, but it's not like the whole thing. It's more focused on like what you mentioned, the control of that resource.
Yeah. We have tried to talk about this series so many times that we're just not even really sure. We, in general, just don't know how to put words together when it comes to talking about a book without spoiling anything. So we're doing our best.
I like this sentence that I noted before that I didn't read from here for some reason. And it's, we're following multiple perspectives within the No Peak clan as they grapple with their different roles within the clan.
Yes.
Much better wording.
That is much better wording. See, we're great off camera.
Yes. So we'll go into different sections. You'll have the timestamps below in the description and you'll have them on the bar so you can skip to whatever section that you care about. But first we'll go into overall score. So overall score either for all of the books or in general. What were your overall thoughts?
I think my overall thoughts were basically, I vibed with this series.
Is that why you got your nails painted green?
You know, that was a happy coincidence that my nails match. That my nails almost always match perfectly. A book. That is... Am I a Greenbone warrior? Anyway. Yeah, I think overall, I gave it a 5-star. It was a very, like... I definitely rode the vibes and it got, like, the emotional... I got more emotional attachments to the characters and was emotionally invested and enjoyed a lot of the world building and the different character stories. Like, there wasn't really ever a time... because it's multi-POV or third person but following multiple storylines. There was only one storyline that I was like, can we just fucking not? And there was a reason for that, which like at the end of it,
which was like my favorite.
Yeah, and like that storyline just kind of adds to like, it's actually great.
Love to hate that storyline.
Love to hate that one. But yeah, I just had such a good vibes the whole time and really enjoyed all of the dynamics. And I thought it was a really beautiful, like, family depicted, family oriented story. I feel like I have to defend my thoughts and feelings on this series.
You are allowed to have a 5-star feeling on this.
How did you feel about the books, Tabatha?
Okay, so I think I'll go a little bit more granular in the sense of like one book at a time. Overall, I will give the overall. Overall, I would say it's probably around a 4-star for me. So it's not like a bad series. It's just not going to usurp some of my favorites. This one, I blame more of myself. So Jade City, the first one, I blame more of myself. I think I wasn't really in the mood for it. And I had just come out of having to soft DNF the 5th season, which the prose in that was so perfect. We'll get into prose later, but it was a little distracting to go from that to this. And I had that one so much on my brain that it was a little bit more of a struggle for me to get into this one. And so it took a while. I was bored a good bit of this book, and I just wanted more out of the magic. I wanted more. I wanted it to feel more fantasy than it was.
Okay, yeah.
And so that really deterred me with this one. I left the book feeling like a 2.5 star, but I had to sit with it. I had to let it marinate. I had to let it stew. And then I bumped it up to a 4 because there are things that I appreciate. I think it was a mood thing when it comes to this one.
That's fair. I will say on this one, I did give it a 5-star. Pretty much across the board, I would just like 5-star experience. This one, I will say, it lays a really good foundation. To me, it laid a really good foundation for the series. Compared to the rest of the series, like, this has the least going on. But that's kind of the point. In the moment, like I said, I was writing vibes. And I had a really good time, and I enjoyed all the characters. And to me, it felt like... It's funny that she was bored, because to me, I felt like a whole lot happened in this book. And then, like, the next book happened and even more happened.
Another problem that I had with this one was the school setting didn't feel... So, like, that perspective where we're following a character in the school setting, the school setting didn't matter at all. And even in later books, that school setting didn't matter. And I never personally grew super attached to that character. So I know you love that character.
I love that character.
I was okay with that character. I loved them at the end of this book, I think. But then it just kind of... It didn't go where I would have wanted it to go. So that character... I loved my number 1 character in this book. There were elements that I really, really enjoyed. But overall, I just didn't have the best time. But I fucking loved this one.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, this one, the world building, the, like, expansion of the story and things. Sorry, I just took over from you. I think the development in book 2, this does not have middle book syndrome. This is a fantastic...
No, opposite. It's the best book in the series. I think we actually both agree on that one.
Yeah, we do.
I will say that there's a level of violence in here that I know not everybody loves, but I thought it was so perfect for that character to do that. And I was literally, I talked to you later, and I was like, I was literally mid grabbing a Cheez-It bite. And I was like, during that like whole scene. So yeah, I love that. I love unhinged characters.
Yes.
I love characters who feel real, and this made them all feel a lot more real. I even grew to like one of my least favorite character a lot more. I will say that was still the most boring storyline for me, even in this book. I didn't really care about the expansion of the world. I actually really liked the close-knit part in book 1. I loved where we went with the relationships. We had a couple of relationships in here that were interesting. So, and then overall for the last book, this was a tough one for me.
This was tough. So much again happens in this book. Like every single one of these books has a lot going on.
Too much.
Yeah. This one could have taken its time a little more. She mentioned to me before, and I agree, that it could have even been split into 2 books. There's so much that happens, and we don't get enough time with those developments to like process and appreciate them before we're thrown into the next one. And I would have appreciated having more time.
I had to sit there and stew on my thoughts for this one too. but in less of a it's a me thing and more of a what don't I like about it. And I think it boils down to those time jumps because I was like, I don't like the characters as much or really anything as much. And I think it all boiled down to the time jumps. They were, I'm a certified time jump hater. This book has taught me that. When we get like 6 pages of a time and we go forward another few years, or we get like 20 pages and then we go forward another few years, it was so jarring. And every time I settled in and I was like, okay, yes.
Yeah.
Like there was a major conflict between 2 of our characters in the beginning, and I was like, ooh, I can't wait to see how that resolves.
Yeah.
And like I want to see that take its time.
Yes.
And it felt like it was resolved so quickly, and then there were no lingering like resentments or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to sit with things a lot more than we got a chance to in this one.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the perfect ending and the way that all of the characters I felt had the perfect conclusion for them, then it would have been a 2-star for me. Because of how perfect the ending was for every single character, I did end up giving it a 4-star. But man, it was a lot to get there.
Yeah, this one, it just, again, so much happened. I was being put through the ringer. Somehow I ended up with emotional attachments to so many of our characters and so many of our storylines, which it's hit or miss for me whether I actually get emotionally involved in a story. So to me, it's weird that happened. Yeah, I was like emotionally being put through the ringer on this one, and I cried multiple times. But I would have liked to have more time to appreciate the characters and their journeys and all the developments and all the relationships. Like there's so much and it's so good, but it went too fast.
It went way too fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our overall thoughts. We'll start breaking it down. Still spoiler free. Don't worry. Spoilers at the end. But let's start breaking it down section by section. Let's go into pacing while we're on the note of that last book. What are your thoughts on pacing?
I think books 1 and 2 for me were paced just fine, and book 3 just went too fast because it has a lot of time jumps and you don't get enough time with anyone and so much happens in not enough time. But yeah, I think these were pretty well evenly paced, and then this one just went like so fast.
My only note on that, my only like slight adjustment would be this one's a bit slower, but it's rightfully done. It's because it's foundational.
Yeah.
It's meant to be a little bit on the slower pace side. So that's not a problem. It's just know that going in and maybe you'll enjoy it a bit more. So, and this one, and that's the thing that got me a little bit more with this one is because it's uneven book to book wise. Like this one was slow. This one was medium. Like the pace is exponential. It ramps up from each book, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing if this one was into a couple of different books, but it was a weird thing. Yeah. It was different for me.
Yeah.
Themes. I'm getting a lot more into themes lately, so I put this section here. Sharilyn was like,
you can lead the discussion on that. I did not. I may have more thoughts than I realize I do.
You do, for sure. What would you say, before I get into it, what would you say would be like the overall themes of this?
Family.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's very Fast and Furious of them. Or just picture Vin Diesel the whole time. But no, very much just that family, everything.
How important family is, family loyalties, family ties. I would also add, especially in books 2 and 3, I would add the importance of a strong support system and forgiveness. There's lots of themes around forgiveness. I'd say those are the biggest themes I noticed, and they were done very well. I think she handled themes very appropriately. I mean, it is a little, I guess, slightly on the nose, considering it's like on the cover, family is duty, magic is power, honor is everything. Like that's pretty much, she does kind of put the themes on the cover.
Yeah, this one says magic divides, power corrupts, family endures. Yeah, it's very family oriented.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, duh. That's the whole story.
But I don't think within the text, I don't think it's too heavy handed or anything like that. I think it's very strong. You see lots of different ways. It's not like, someone is like constantly saying, you listen to me. Family is everything. I mean, they do have dialogue like that, but there's more layers to it.
Yeah, it is very much like you just see it play out in their relationships and their decisions. And like we have a lot of morally gray situations, morally black, like dark, like people make their decisions based on their love for their family and for each other and their relationships. But that comes in very heavily in book 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Just making that.
And I think that's what I loved so much about it, is because it took the theme and it took it to like the next level of like, oh, maybe it's too much in some senses.
Like we did not hold back in this book.
And so that's also part of it, is like maybe you can go too far when you think of doing things for family.
Yeah.
So I thought it was an interesting discussion for the themes.
For sure.
Number 1 area, for me at least, characters. Let's get into characters.
Oof.
I have 2 favorites. One is...
I specifically have a least favorite, and it's one of her favorites.
No, actually, that's not one of my 2 favorites.
Oh, really?
I enjoyed that perspective a lot, because that perspective feels like in any other book, that person would be the hero of the story.
Oh, yeah.
And I enjoy that it's different than that. Yeah. And they wouldn't actually be the hero because they're not a good person.
Mm-hmm. But they would be that, like, main character. Yeah. Yeah, it would center around them. Mm-hmm. That's fair.
And so I thought that was cool to have that perspective in there. My favorites are going to be Hilo and Win, I would say, are my like number 1 and number 2 characters. I don't know which order to even put them because I love Win so much, but she's more of a minor character. I also love Shay. I like Andon well enough. I think that's your favorite character.
I love Andon. Yeah, I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite. I really don't know, but I greatly appreciated all of them, all of the main family characters.
Yeah.
Honestly, Shay might even be my favorite. I just appreciate a lot of her mind comes in a lot on like strategy side. Yeah. Their family dynamic is very interesting in the way that they support each other, and she comes in that like strategy, like clever thinking, like how do we play this to our advantage? And she has a very difficult role in that sense, and the way that she's still able to get in there and make it work and do her best and it go where it goes. Yeah, I have a respect for her.
I also just love that Fond du Lis does such a good job at having these strong female characters without them being sassy or just like whiny.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the books, because we've read a lot of romantasy, a lot of those books tend to have like the strong female character can't like anybody.
Yeah, she's also like snarky.
She has to be rude.
Yeah.
And like these characters aren't that. They're complex. They're rich.
They're like more mature. They're more emotionally intelligent. And that was definitely a refreshing thing to read.
Yeah, 5-star for the characters, I would say.
Yeah.
Any other notes that you want to add onto characters? Which is characters also you think the strong suit of the series, or would you say it's something else?
I think the characters probably are the strong suit. Like I especially had, like I said, so many emotional ties. Like, even minor characters stand out in my mind. And, like, minor characters. Like, we have a very broad cast of characters in all these different settings and all these different perspectives that we're in. But there are so many that play a pivotal role, even if it's a little thing. Yep. Like, their involvement in that storyline matters. They're not just there to throw away. Right. And that is something... that means a lot to me because my husband and I watch a lot of anime. This is like a weird tangent, but there are a lot of shows that will have those like throwaway characters who just die for the sake of dying. They don't have any impact. It is a joke in our house at this point that like someone chimes in like, oh yeah, let's go do the thing. And I'm like, oh, they're gonna die. That happens a whole lot. So to have all of these ancillary inside characters who matter, who make a difference.
And even if they do die, their death meant something.
Yeah, like they're not just dying for the sake of dying and to show off that the big bad has
It's such
power.
A brutal world.
Yeah, like it really, I do feel like everything had a purpose. Like all of the action that happened in this book all happened. It was
very very intentional writing.
Yes, it was very very intentional.
Even the time jumps were definitely intentional because she wanted it to be 3 books. I appreciate the taking the chance. It wasn't a chance that worked for me, but I do appreciate the courage it takes to like do something outside of the normal. Yeah. So, and I will say on the note of characters, and you just reminded me of this, I have 2 authors to compare to. One I'll save for later, but for this character section, I really was reminded of like Stephen King and how he does meander, lots of meandering. which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I think it's kind of cool sometimes to be like, oh, now we know, like, the backstory of this other person who, whatever.
Yeah.
Got that, and the side characters, and all.
Yeah. And she does it, dude, she does it so well and so naturally, I didn't even think about it. Like, that didn't stand out to me as something that happens. Like, there are times, you know, when you're reading, and, like, you can tell that the author put this piece of information in there because they wanted the reader to know it, but it didn't fit or blend. But this, like, yeah, we got a lot of characters. That's why we care so much about the side characters, is because we learn so much about who they are. We learn various motivations and backgrounds and things they've been through. And so you build a connection to that character. So when something happens, because something will happen, it matters. Yep. And it, like, that is a good point. It's like, why do I care so much about these characters? Because she did it right.
Yeah.
Okay, A+.
I mean, at least right in our taste.
In our taste.
Some people don't like the meandering style sometimes, and I get that.
I did not even notice. So I either like it or she did it so well.
So if you like Stephen King's characters, this is a really unhinged recommendation.
This is very random. But yeah, that's such a random but good point. Like, Stephen King does characters really well. So yeah, these characters are beautiful and lovely, and even the characters I don't like, I still have respect for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, yeah, this is very... I'm elevating my... already...
You're like, it's no longer a 5-star, it's a 6-star.
Yeah, but 5++. Yeah, I was like, oh, that just means so much. Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
I just love when a writer's, like, intentionality and, like it comes through. Like, you know that she just did a lot on purpose and meaningfully, and it just, it comes through, and I didn't even realize that, but I appreciate it more now. All right.
See, it's not as scary of a discussion as you thought it would be. I told you it's still a 4-star for me.
Yeah. She was over here like, I'm trying to get through these books, and I had already finished, and I was like, oh, she's gonna hate it. She hates it. But no, it's like, no, respect.
All right, emotional impact. This kind of goes along with the characters in a good bit of way.
I've definitely been touching on that this whole time. I laughed, I cried, I had
Cheez-It midair.
Yes. Yeah, no, there were so many good, hard-hitting, meaningful moments. Yeah, this is all a lot of what we just covered, is that because we get so much of that, who characters are, why they do what they do, it means so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah, the impact is there at 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say I would have a bit more emotional impact in this one without the time
fair.
jumps.
That's fair.
But I blame that on the time jumps. I still enjoyed the ending, but it didn't hit as well as it could have. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, there's an event in that book, no spoilers. There's an event in that book that I cried at that she didn't cry at. And she was like, I didn't even care that happened, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like I just had, I don't know,
if we had spent more time,
it would have hit more. But yeah, we're just different people. That's fine. Yeah. But yeah, no, the emotional impact was there for me. Absolutely. Oh, and it was so beautiful and so well done.
And there was an event about halfway through here that I also was like, I saw it coming, not in that direction, not in that exact way. I saw it coming in like what I considered a cooler way, because there were like pieces in place for it. Yeah. I just did. Nah. It didn't have that emotional impact that I think it was going for. Yeah. For that section. Did that event?
Yeah, that event. I also was like expected more out of that, and it was used to move the story where it was meant to, where she wanted it to go. But yeah, that one, it happened, and I was like, like, it took me a minute to be like, oh, I guess we're doing that. We went that. Okay, we're going that. That's the direction. That, yeah, it didn't have as big of an impact. And I don't know if it was meant to have much of an impact. I don't know what impact it was meant to have.
I think it was. I think it was supposed to be more of an emotional moment.
But yeah, the way it happened, it was like, really? Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't, it was just that it felt like it was going to be more.
Yeah. It felt like it deserves to be more. Yeah, that's fair. Cool.
So world building.
World building.
I would say that this is the weakest category of the series.
That's fair. Yeah, it's not really focused on. That's an interesting. Yeah, because like it comes into play. The world comes into play, but it's very much just kind of like background.
Yeah, we get a lot of politics. We get a lot of politics in this one, but I don't care about the surrounding world. And then we start to get into more of the surrounding world in the second book. The first book is very small scale.
Yeah, this one is just focused on.
We're in one city, one family. Really, it's not even like. As much as it's in a city, the city is not a focus at all. It's mostly, I mean, it is and it isn't. It's about two warring clans, but mostly focused in on one family.
Yeah.
And we don't really know much about the other outside world. I don't really care to. And I thought that once we got some of the outside world, I didn't care as much about that outside world. I would have rather just stayed. Yeah.
Like, it was just kind of meant, it was just there to, like, to give the character space almost.
Yeah.
The world itself wasn't really its own character.
And I definitely didn't care about that city that we went to. Like, we had a character go into a different area.
I cared about the characters, but I didn't really...
I was just waiting for that character to reunite.
Anywhere. Yeah. Just waiting for the character to come back.
Yeah, because, it's obvious that you're going to have the character come back at some point.
Yeah.
So, they even said it's not, like, supposed to be a big secret that they're going to come back. It's obvious, so it's like, why do I care that this character is away if I already know that this character is going to come back? Why do I care about this world at all? Or any of those particular side characters. I didn't care about those ones either. But I also didn't care about that main character.
Yeah, there's that whole storyline you're just for.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, that one, like, even that storyline, because of, like, I appreciated the characters and I had an emotional connection because of, like, the things we talked about. So,
but the world building in that section.
But yeah, world building wasn't really.
They never, like, had meals together or, like, any kind of world building in that sense either to get a grasp on, like culture, things like that. I felt were missing. I would have loved a lot more of that involvement, especially with something that could be a bit more atmospheric, especially since we're focused on, like, a gang family. Like, when I think of Sopranos, which I've never watched, but I think about the dinner table, like, they're at the dinner table. I know that that's, like, an image that gets brought up, and like,
it's a classic mafia thing.
Right?
Come on.
Right? I think about them, I think about them, like, sitting at the dinner table and discussing things, and I think they did have, like, a dinner table conversation a couple times.
Oh, yeah, they did.
But it's less atmospheric in that sense. And I don't get a good grasp on where this city lies in the grand scheme of the world or anything that. So I don't necessarily think it's a problem if we would have stayed in that smaller scope. But because we started branching out and we got really heavy into politics in this one, because of that, that's where the world building kind of lowers it a bit for me. Because if we had the strong world building around the politics and everything, then the politics would have been more interesting. Yeah. But I didn't care about the politics at all.
Yeah, it just kind of felt like background. Even when it was like in the foreground, it was something they were dealing with actively. Yeah. It still felt like a kind of a background. Yeah, it's weird.
So last section before spoilers is prose. I don't think we have a whole lot to discuss on this one. I think it was more me
because you were coming off 5th season.
I was coming off a 5th season, which has phenomenal prose, and so there was definitely he released the breath he didn't realize he was holding in this book, but he definitely did do that. Once the story got started and we got way more invested, I noticed the prose a lot less. It's a very simple, very clean prose.
Yeah, it just feels very accessible.
Yeah.
There isn't, like, it's not very flowery. It doesn't, it just feels very, like, straightforward and easy to digest.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yep. And then the first one had some, like, newer author-isms with, like, the cliches and stuff like that. But I think she got better at writing as she went through the series. So, yay. That's awesome.
Yay.
Cool. Now, if you haven't read these and you don't want spoilers, it's been nice having you here. What kind of emoji should we have them leave us before we...
Leave us a little green emoji, something for Jade City.
Yeah. Now we'll go on to spoilers, so goodbye spoiler-free people. Hopefully you end up reading these and loving them. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into spoilers. Any spoilers you want to talk about?
The first thing that comes to mind was like, we cannot fucking get rid of Barrow. I could not. I love to hate. I just had, every single time he came up, I was like, this motherfucker.
I loved it.
I was like, we can't.
The cockroach that could not be stomped.
He literally, and the fact even that, I think it was at the beginning of book 3, when he himself pointed out that he was like, the gods are just like playing a nasty game with me that I like can't, like, they're just keeping me around to like bat me back and forth. I'm like,
I also love that we start the series with him.
Yeah.
And we end the series with him.
I loved the full circle moment of like from the very beginning where we start to like ending back at the Twice
He's
Lucky.
like a taxi driver at the end.
And he was like, oh yeah, I used to.
Unimportant as fuck.
Oh my gosh.
Wanted to be so important. Ended up going nowhere. Perfect ending for him.
Oh, he was a masterpiece in and of himself. I appreciate it so much, but I'm also like, this guy, can we please anything?
You're like, can he fucking die?
You can't get rid of him. Oh, so funny.
There are moments that you think that he's going away too.
You think you're finally rid of him, and then he comes back, and it's like, golly.
The grave digging was a bit much. But...
That was... Yeah, no, that guy was just a maniac. I don't know if I really have many spoilery thoughts beyond just like how I felt about certain characters and their journeys.
I love to hate the moment that Hilo killed Nico's mom. So brutal.
That was so messed up.
Didn't expect it. It was awful. Yeah. It was obviously an awful behavior, and I didn't think that we would get any redemption from him on that. I didn't think that, and we never really like
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was very wild and unexpected. And obviously can't condone that, but it was cool to read. I guess. It was cool. It was definitely a, oh, we're going there kind of a moment.
Yeah. The leader of the other clan, her name?
Aitmata,
yeah. I honestly, like, respect for her.
Yeah.
She's a badass.
Yeah.
I was like, part of me at the end, I was like, can't we like be friends with her? I was like, can we actually form an alliance? But no, she was terrible. But also, just, wow.
She was doing her best.
She was something else.
Doing her best for herself.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah. Yeah, she was just a bad bitch.
But every character landed where we needed them to. Mm-hmm. I was sad that Hilo died, but...
Yeah, I was sad about that.
It was fair.
Yeah. Like, so many people die, but I did actually care about a lot of them. Yeah. Which is...
Oh, Shay killing her boyfriend. Brutal. Loved it.
Dude, that whole sequence where like he was the reason that happened. Oh my gosh.
And she chose family.
She chose family hard.
Loved that. Loved that for her.
Yeah.
I mean, not for her, but you know, that sucked for her.
Oh man.
But it was good.
Yeah.
Reading.
Yeah, like there are so many moments of just that morally questionable, morally gray, morally dark, like you're just murdering people.
Yeah.
But that's mafia for ya. That's this like clan mentality. But what?
I wanted Andon to be with Lot. I didn't want him to be with a random who gives a shit person.
Yeah.
Who, like, I can see
about that.
I can see that it's right for the character to have someone who's not involved in the clan because he's kind of like
he's
on
already
the side,
kind of on the edge.
But
especially since he like gives up his
enemies to lovers with Lot would have been really
so interesting. Yeah, like when Andon came back and he like saw him again, and I was like, huh?
Yeah, right?
But no, like I wanted something from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you right. Damn, I forgot about that. Yeah, really all I had to say was I want Andon to be happy. And then on Legacy, Rue dying, I did care when Rue died. I was sad. And then Hilo dying, that was...
I cared to an extent, but I already, because of this cover, and I told you this before. Yeah, the
cover like kind of gave it away for you.
I was like, oh, well,
special edition.
There's one kid missing, so
yeah,
it's got to be one of the kids that dies.
Yeah.
And I liked Rue more than Nico. Nico was kind of a little shit, so...
Oh, the girl.
Oh, I loved
their
her.
Daughter.
I loved her, but we needed more.
We needed more of her.
We needed more of that generation.
She was like almost like crazy Azula energy. Like, yes. I loved her.
She was Hilo.
Yeah. She was her father's daughter.
Yeah.
She was, I loved her. I wanted more. I think that's kind of why I was sad about like Rue dying.
Yeah.
be like, because I wanted to see that next generation come in, because like we were introducing them and getting to know them, and it was like beginning, like kind of like, again,
that's why I need that more books.
Yeah, it's like it was again full circle of kind of like where this one started. The next generation was coming in, and that was really cool. But yeah, I was like, I wanted to see them come into their own right. Yeah, and so I was sad. I was sad that we like lost him before we even had him. Yeah, on Brew.
But we didn't really have much of the others in either.
But we did get a lot of the daughter's personality.
We did get her personality.
I really liked her.
I liked that she was just a little girl helo.
Yeah, she was awesome.
That generation 3, I guess, because we start with the...
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Yeah. But the youngest generation, I just didn't care because we didn't have as much about them.
Yeah.
We needed like a whole book of them at least.
Yeah. When we just kind of like time skipped through their like childhood and young adulthood into the young adulthood, and I was like, wait, what? Where are we? Yeah. We didn't get to see their development, and that would have been really nice. But I understand wanting to keep your series to a trilogy.
I appreciate that.
Because you're like, nope, this is all it needs to be. We're not going to drag it out. So we're just going to write a thick-ass book instead.
I appreciate the efforts and the uniqueness of the time jumps. I just didn't enjoy them.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all my thoughts. Do you have any other pressing thoughts? Oh, one more author that I forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah.
I did say 2. This is just, sorry, spoiler-free people. You're just not going to get this. But you guys who read it and have definitely stayed around.
Still here.
You'll know. The prose reminds me of Brandon Sanderson, actually. A lot. Okay. So, like, characters of Stephen King, prose of Brandon Sanderson.
Interesting. I haven't read Brandon Sanderson.
It's because he has a very simple prose as well.
That's nice, though. I feel like that's nice for... like the vast majority of readers who are that like the general audience of like, just give me something that's like easy for me to take in.
Yes.
Yeah, especially in the fantasy world, I feel like there's a very big scale of like that kind of easy to get into versus like, I don't even know how to define words and I don't do what is it like. Yeah, you can get so deep in fantasy in your writing style and in all the complexities. So to have that range is great. But yeah,
that was my last note. Any others from you?
I don't think so. I think we covered it.
Well, let us know your thoughts on Jade City or the Greenbone Saga entirely. Hopefully you have read all of them if you're this far along.
If you're still here.
It's kind of awkward if you haven't.
Yeah.
Let us know your ratings and like she said before, leave us a green or red or blue emoji.
For your favorite of the series. Or just because it's your favorite color. I don't know. Just leave us one of these colors.
And or let us know your thoughts below. Probably spoiler free so that if people...
Keep it spoiler free for everyone else.
Yeah. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.